This is the Blood Red podcast from the Liverpool Echo.
Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Blood Red podcast. Today I'm your host and I'm Connor Dunn. I'm joined by three fine human beings. On my far left is Sean Bradbury. Sean, how are you?
Very well, thanks. Yeah, springing me step after yesterday.
Excellent.
Decent win.
Very good. Joe Rimmer, how are you?
Yeah, same. Feeling good after yesterday. It was weirdly, it was much needed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Strangely so.
Yeah.
But
No, they've won every other game in the Premier League, but
that's it. Yeah. And then last but certainly not least is Paul Gorst. How are you feeling today?
I've felt better, I think. I've certainly felt worse, so just trying to remember when that was. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm glad to be on the pod.
I'll start with you first and just quickly. You were a little bit hungover on Sunday for the Liverpool-Chelsea game, weren't you? Despite being at Stamford Bridge, you had a night out in London on Saturday evening, and I'll give a special mention to your friend. Can you tell me a little bit more?
Yes, so, I mean, I wasn't not trying to keep it quiet, but Joe outed me on Twitter yesterday, didn't you? Saying that
sometimes you
and requested
you in on a secret
requested me to out you on the podcast too,
yeah.
I might add.
So I was actually at a charity event on Saturday night in London, which one of my good friends has organised, and it was raising money for homeless people across London. The Paul UK is the name of the charity. Charity auction, I think we raised about £15,000,
Wow.
and 500 of that come from a mate of mine who accidentally bid on a holiday. So he's got a couples retreat, a yoga retreat, in Portugal coming up that he had no intention of buying and mistakenly ended up purchasing.
Superb. Well, after that excellent start, and you being hungover on Sunday, Liverpool certainly weren't hungover and started incredibly brightly in the game.
Smooth that.
What did you make of it? Seamless.
I mean, the last 15, 20 minutes were really fly by the seat of your pants stuff, wasn't it? And Liverpool were clinging on. They couldn't get hold of the ball. There was no composure, no control, absolutely none of that at all. It all went out the window. But for the 70 minutes before that, I thought Liverpool were very good. I thought they deserved to be in front. Always a tough place to go, Chelsea, no matter... I mean, obviously, it's a different Chelsea than we're used to seeing, and it's one that's trying to get back on its feet with a new manager, a relatively untried manager with a new-look squad, but still got plenty of quality in there. So Liverpool did very well to go there and deserved to be 2-0 up for so long. So I think, on reflection, Liverpool deserved to win, but the last 15 minutes were too nervy for mine and many others like them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's just a case of Liverpool playing at Stamford Bridge, isn't it, Joe? And that is always an amazing win whenever you can get one.
definitely. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, my teenage years, Liverpool never won at Stamford Bridge. Bruno Cheru delivered the first win at Stamford Bridge in a long time.
Assisted by your mate.
Yeah, it was assisted by some brilliant play. Go and watch that goal back, Emil Heskey. Great hold-up play. But yeah, it was always been a tough place to go. And I think, all right, it was a nervy last 20 minutes. But there's this feeling today that Liverpool perhaps weren't very good. And I think they were quite good yesterday. They managed the game well. They created good chances. Firmino could have scored a third, couldn't he? Early in the second half. And, they took all 3 points. So it was a really, really good win. It was something that I think Gorst quite rightly pointed out in his verdict afterwards, that it was something that they hadn't really managed last season on the road at the in inverted commas, big clubs and their rivals. So a huge win that was missing last season, and it will do them the world of good going into the next couple of games. It was like I said at the start, it was like a win, the sixth win in the row that was just felt like massively needed. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, both Gorsty and Joe have mentioned there, Sean, that the last 20 minutes were a little bit nervy. What do you think that was down to?
I think mainly it's just legginess, isn't it, from Napoli? I think when these fixtures were thrown up, and obviously we've had the League Cup tie that's been thrown in there as well, but it did look like a difficult little run for the Reds. Even the Sheffield United game, I think you've got to include in that as well. Promoted side, away from home, which is never going to be easy, but those two results, obviously last season, Napoli away was a loss. Chelsea, after that late Sturridge thunderbolt, was just about snatched the draw. I thought it was always going to be difficult, and obviously with Liverpool having lost in midweek, there was a lot of exertion and tried everything they could do to kind of win that one. So yeah, I'm kind of more in the positive camp. I just think you saw kind of all sides of what this Liverpool team are capable of. You saw the ruthlessness, you saw the threat from set pieces. Like, even at the start of the second half, I thought they had another real good go. Could have been 3, could have been 4, as Klopp himself said in his post-match comments. And then, yeah, just as it wore on, I just think there was a bit of tiredness. Mane and some others just looked like they'd run out of legs. Fabinho, who was unbelievable in the first half, did look like he was tiring a little bit, which was well within his rights to do. So yeah, that they managed to come away with all 3 points is testament to character, really, because I think it was just nerves over physical ability in that last 20.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. I'm going to ask you about that as well now, to be honest, because obviously, Liverpool played really well for the majority of the game, had those nervy moments. Does this just show the fact that, the phrase winning ugly is, for want of a better use, they just can win in all sorts of manners now?
Yeah, definitely. I think there was a time when Liverpool would have went to Chelsea, and as soon as Kante scores, then that's it. It's a draw. Sooner or later, Chelsea are going to get the leveller. But this Liverpool team now are just so strong, aren't they? That defensively, and they know that they can fall back on that strength at the back, because like Sir Van Dijk and in particular Matip, who I thought was excellent yet again, just stood up to the task, and every ball that come in, they were heading it clear. Batshuayi got in between them for one header, which he might have done better with, but generally there wasn't a whole lot for Chelsea to huff and puff at. I thought Liverpool defended very well, and okay, they couldn't get hold of the ball and couldn't run the clock down, and it was nervy trying to see it out, but that's the reason they've got the defence that they have, and it's the reason that they were the best defence in the league last season, weren't they? So it's a great thing to have in your armoury, and it certainly came to the fore yesterday, because as Joe says, it really just felt like a massive win, and 6 from 6 now, isn't it? Liverpool have got the best lead that anyone's ever had at this stage of a Premier League campaign with 5 points, and everything seems rosy, and I think winning in these types of games are going to be massive if Liverpool are going to be champions, because last season Manchester City obviously beat them, but they drew at United, they drew at Chelsea, they drew at Arsenal, and some of those have got to change if they are serious about toppling Manchester City. Yeah,
absolutely. And Gorst obviously mentioned Matip there, Joe. His performances recently have been absolutely fantastic, and you just at the moment think there's no chance of Joe Gomez getting anywhere near his place.
No, well, I think Joe Gomez will play in the League Cup, but in the league and in the Champions League right now, Matip deservedly has that spot, and it's testament to how well he's playing. I thought he was excellent yesterday, especially towards the end when Liverpool were under the cosh a bit. He got his head on things, he cleared things. There was one just clearance right up the pitch that at the time Liverpool had kept giving the ball back to Chelsea. Yeah, I think it was about 5 minutes to go, and he just hammered it off the pitch, and it was like a moment of great relief. But I thought individually, I think it's weirdly Liverpool don't seem to be defending that well as a unit at the moment. They're not keeping those clean sheets that sort of caught the eye at the start of last season. But I think in terms of individual performances, they're defending very, very well. Like Trent, I thought was excellent yesterday, made some really crucial tackles, made a great header towards the end when Chelsea were putting dangerous crosses in. Thought Robertson stood up well, fought hard yesterday and won a lot of tackles. And then Van Dijk is Virgil van Dijk, isn't he? And the goalkeeper, I think, we'll come on to. So I think, individually they're defending really, really well. It would be nice they kept a couple of clean sheets, but I don't think it's for anyone's performance, if that makes sense. I just think right now they're conceding goals, a bit of luck going against them, but I'm pretty sure clean sheets will come. Yeah,
I totally take your point about the individual performances. Obviously, Trent scored his absolute screamer goal, and then Robertson at the end, when Liverpool under pressure, ran it out, and the pressure and those sort of things is what's helping Liverpool. And you mentioned the goalkeeper there as an individual performance. I think he actually gave Liverpool a platform in the first half to go on and win that game. Sean, what did you make of Adrian?
Oh, definitely. I think his story at Liverpool so far has just been remarkable, because when he signed, I think everyone was just thinking, well, he's not going to get too much of a look in, and was almost just counting the minutes until Alisson returned, given just how much he brings to this Liverpool side. But we've reached the stage now, I think, where you're not really too worried about rushing Alisson back, certainly. And I think he's done the one thing that I wouldn't necessarily have backed him to do, which is, I'd say he's already won Liverpool points in the league, arguably, like you say, yesterday, because if Abraham scores that one-on-one and it goes 1-1, it's an entirely different game, isn't it? Chelsea, we saw how dangerous they were when they eventually did rally after Kante's goal. And if that had come earlier, you might have been panicking, but it's not just that as well, is it? He's arguably won Liverpool a Super Cup, and whatever happens from him here on in, even if he only plays 5 or 6 more games, he's been a massive figure in this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought a really good moment as well was actually when Chelsea scored from that VAR goal. He made the double save really good. It's superb, and if that stays out, it looks like an amazing save. But I mean, I think Adrian's performing recently is just a testament to him that Liverpool aren't missing Alisson.
Yeah, and that's the biggest compliment you can pay him, because Alisson, for me anyway, is the best goalkeeper in the world. £65 million, won the Premier League Golden Glove, the Copa America Golden Glove, and the Champions League in his first season. So he, for me, is probably the top goalkeeper. So that just shows you how well Adrian's done that. You're not too worried about when Alisson's back, and you're not checking the calendar every day and hoping that it's going to be next week. So Liverpool can take the time with Alisson and ease him back into full fitness. And Adrian is just playing superbly well. I agree with Sean's point there about Tammy Abraham when he goes clean through there. He's got all the time in the world. He's sprung the offside trap and he's one-on-one. And if he equalises there, then that could be a completely different game. And Liverpool have got to rally again. And he stood up well to it, didn't he? And so often before Alisson's arrival, goalkeepers weren't really saving Liverpool's points. Didn't really happen as much as it should have. And to be fair to him yesterday, he's done that. And probably a bit unlucky to be on the losing end on Tuesday night as well. But that save he made from Dries Mertens, which is one of the best you'll see this season, was unreal. Yeah,
I think Adrian. I just think he's been extraordinary. His mentality is just perfect for Liverpool, and I think that was one of the big reasons they got him. But to come in the way he has done and no fuss, just gone about his business really well. I mean, even made a really, really bad error, didn't he, at Southampton?
Yeah.
And it's not flustered him. He's not. He still plays the ball out quite well. I've got to be honest, I thought when he came in, I thought he was a bit of a downgrade on Mignolet. I think people still treat Mignolet a little bit badly. I don't think he was quite as bad a goalkeeper as people made out. He perhaps wasn't a Liverpool goalkeeper. Well, he wasn't a Liverpool goalkeeper, but he still served the club quite well for a long time. So I thought when he came in, I shrugged my shoulders a little bit, but his mentality's been brilliant. And you can imagine, even when Alisson comes back, he'd be a good person to have around that dressing room, and he'll always have Liverpool fans' respect for this little spell. And as Paul said before, you could even say we haven't really noticed that Alisson's not playing, and that's massive, isn't it?
Huge, yeah. You're not concerned about the lack of clean sheets at all, are you, Sean?
A little bit, but I think as the guys alluded to before, most of the goals Liverpool have conceded have been not quite freak goals, but a lot of them just kind of strange little incidents. I think as well, one thing, and you've seen this a couple of times in a few games, where I think there's a little bit of, they're almost trying to rebalance the midfield a little bit. I thought Henderson was kind of really high up in this game, and there's been quite a few where he's kind of really sort of push on and be busy up front and kind of lead the press from that right hand side of the midfield. And Fabinho's so good, I think he's almost being trusted to kind of mop up and run the defensive midfield completely on his own. Yeah. It feels like he's having to control more of the pitch than maybe Henderson used to do as a number 6, and maybe they're getting used to that a little bit. But no, I don't think it's anything particularly. It doesn't feel like there's a pattern of play or an obvious weakness that every team's preying on. That goals are happening in various different ways, so it's not a long-term concern, I don't think.
Fine. A talking point that has been throughout this Premier League season so far, it was a talking point for Liverpool yesterday, is VAR. For me, watching it kind of felt like we'd scored twice. Gorst, what did you think?
Well, it was the right decision, wasn't it? Was it Mason Mount? His left foot was just marginally offside.
His big toe,
and well, this is the reason it's been brought in, isn't it? I mean, VAR has its detractors and it's it's people who champion it, and it's, for me, it just seems like nowadays all you seem to talk about is VAR. The actual football talk disappears, and that's the big frustration for me, because you want to talk about football and you just left talking about refereeing decisions and so on. But they got it right yesterday. Did they get it right on Tuesday night in Naples? I'd argue no. I thought Callejon was a dive. So Liverpool have got maybe a little bit of justification for that one. But it was the right decision, and that's all you want. I think VAR should be limited to offsides, to be perfectly honest. I think it's an offside call is black and white, isn't it? The same way goal line technology is. So I'd like to see it just limited to that and let the referees make the calls as they see fit during games.
Fine, okay.
So, sorry, I just think it's funny the way you said now all we do is talk about VAR, but in the past all people did was talk about referees, and we'd say referees have got to get that right. How many times you watch Match of the Day or something where pundits would be going, they've got to get that one right? Why have they got to get that one right? They're human beings, and now I think with VAR it's just like, well, there's a clear for offsides, for example. You say it's black and white, but all weekend, all they've done is people have debated. I saw a piece yesterday saying essentially, but Mason Mount's left foot wasn't really, it wasn't a massive thing, was it? It was only his left foot offside, but they've got to draw the line somewhere. They can't just go.
It is a matter of that's offside, that isn't it?
Well, Youngmin's son then was offside, wasn't he, for Tottenham?
Yeah.
And whether it's his hair offside or whether it's is full body. There's got to be a line drawn, and they can't go, well, it's so close, we'll just leave it. Because if they did, like I'm sure we've all had the debate with our mates or whatever, but I was chatting to my mates about it and saying, well, what if that goal cost Liverpool the league? Well, what if Liverpool conceded the goal and it cost them the league, and you'd have people debating all day? They've got a system here, and you can slow it down to there. Right there, he's offside, and they've not called it because it's so close. I just think either accept VAR the way it is, or don't have it. And I think it's come in these endless debates over someone's shoulder was offside. Yeah, it was. That's where the line's drawn. So it's no goal. And if you don't like it, accept the referees make mistakes. Because we had, like, when they went to City a few years back in a game that they lost, that perhaps cost them the league, there was a clear offside that the referee the linesman didn't get. But he's not going to be able to get it because those things happen when you don't have technology. So I just think I feel a little bit sorry for referees and Premier League, because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you bring in VAR, everyone complains. If you don't have it in, you hear referees getting told you've got to make the right calls. Well, they're never going to be able to. No one could do that job.
It's difficult. I think if you look at the game, the Napoli game, and the decision yesterday, and the problem is when there's a bit of subjectivity that's introduced into it, because a lot of people would have said that the Callahan one with Robertson, it was a clear and obvious
But it's different though, isn't it? VAR, they don't, that clear and for VAR over offsides, it's a lot different. Well, see, they won't overrule a referee if he's made a penalty decision. No. But offsides is just black and white. I thought this, but yesterday there was a really good discussion on Sky actually afterwards about it. There's the element of subjectivity with offside would be how far back you go. Because I suppose it was like, do you reset that phase of play? And like, Souness was like, as maybe a lot of people say, well, he would have done. He said, I think that was fair enough. Whereas I think Keane and Mourinho were saying, well, I would have seen that as it's that goal should have stood, given that. So it's hard though, isn't it? Because like, where do you draw the line? There's got to be some kind of hard and fast rule. Yeah, but they are drawing the line. I just don't think they can win. And I think with the penalty on Wednesday night, I didn't think it was a penalty. I think we'd all agree we didn't think it was a penalty. But there were people after that game who thought it was a penalty. And you might think they're wrong, you might think they're mad, but if they do and if the referee did, then they can't overrule it. Otherwise there'd be chaos. They've got to have rules, and that's why they're there, isn't it?
Well, it seems like the argument has changed in what we're arguing about now, and it's VAR over decisions, and I think we'll put this endless debate to bed. I'll be here all day. One thing I did want to talk about, Liverpool scored obviously from set pieces both times. They've scored 7 more goals since the start of last season via set pieces than any other team in the Premier League. Is that a surprise?
No, I wouldn't have thought so, because I remember Jurgen Klopp saying in quite detailed, actually, not too sure when it was, but he did say at the start of last season they looked at it and thought we need to improve our goal tally from set pieces, so they worked on it. Pep Linders and Peter Kravitz and the coaching staff got them on the training pitch and worked at it, and now Liverpool are seeing the benefits from it. So I wouldn't say I'm surprised by those statistics, but I was surprised to see the well-worked free kick routines yesterday, the way they came out, and that little drag by Salah just put it into Alexander Arnold's path for just opened up, didn't it? I mean, that if Alexander Arnold hits the dead ball, that space isn't open there for him to score. That it basically rolls it, and then the wall breaks up, and the space just opens up for him. And I thought that was a fantastic strike, to be fair. He's got it in his locker anyway because of how well he can strike a ball. And then the second one was another one, wasn't it? With Trent rolls it into Robertson's path, and his crossing is probably the best in the Liverpool squad, actually, I'd say, and he's put it on a plate for Firmino and tucked it away. So I'm not surprised that Liverpool scoring more set pieces, because they should be, to be fair, with Matip and Van Dijk going up for corners and whatever. And they've got Trent and Robertson who can deliver it. But I was surprised to see the way the free kick routines worked yesterday. That caught me by surprise a little bit.
Do you think this is just another case of maybe Liverpool leaving absolutely no stone unturned in the will to score any way, shape or form and win games in every possible way? Definitely.
I think Liverpool fans know, but I think wider there's this idea that Klopp's a motivator and all that, but the amount of attention to detail that goes on in his scout and his coaching team and the analytics department is unreal, and it's no surprise, these little changes of angle, they're they're no coincidence, are they? You know, the little moves. The Trent free kick was absolutely sexy, wasn't it?
Ridiculous, isn't it?
That was just, but it was like Steven Gerrard-esque, and there was a time when Didier Mann's main job in the Liverpool team was just nudging free kicks, nudging the ball towards Gerrard for him to just blam it into the top. And to see Trent do that was just great, because it was like, you know, this young lad repeating something that I grew up watching Liverpool's captain do time and time again, and it was just a sensational strike. Really, really enjoyed it. You know, it's one of those goals that you can watch back from any angle, and they changed the angle again, didn't they, from the other free kick, and that worked perfectly as well. So they're out thinking teams in many different ways, and it just is the sign of a top quality football team.
I think the set piece stuff as well is another byproduct of just how hard Liverpool have got to work to match City, and it's, you know, these two teams are having that kind of effect on each other, pushing each other's level up all the time. I mean, it does feel now like there's talk of a top 4 or top 6. Well, it's a 2, isn't it? And then it still seems uncertain what's going to kind of form behind Liverpool and City. But yeah, I just think any little edge, like you were saying, Gorsty, it's those little things, those little refinements, and Liverpool have done it really well. I thought Doyley made a good point in his analysis. We've just talked about, whilst things got a bit loose in the last 20, Liverpool defended well. And I guess that's another thing, isn't it? Every time Robbo or Trent or whoever's practicing these set pieces and trying to whip them in, Van Dijk and Matip are there, aren't they, to head them away. So it's kind of working for Liverpool at both ends of the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on from that now, Liverpool are going to be playing NK Dons on Wednesday. Now, Liverpool have lost their last 4 League Cup games in a row. If you think back to the semi-final away and home against Southampton, and then Leicester and then Chelsea. Obviously being knocked out the first round of asking the last 2 years in a row. They're against Championship opposition now. How do you think they're going to do?
Well, I think it's a good opportunity actually for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp to rest a few. He hasn't really had that luxury over the last 2 seasons when he's coming up against Premier League opposition, Leicester and Chelsea. So I think this one is a good chance at a time when Liverpool seem to be playing like once every 3 days at the moment, aren't they, up until the international break? So good chance to rest a few players. You could make a case that it'd be a completely different 11 for Wednesday night. So, good chance for some fringe players to come in and stake a claim, and a good opportunity for others like Sadio Mane with his dead leg to rest up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be all about changes, isn't it, Joe? And they're actually in League One, not Championship, before anybody calls me out on that.
Is that what Guy I was very confused. I started looking at my phone. I was like thinking, what's going on? Something happened. And I could see him just going 1. Sorry, you're giving away the secrets here of how these podcasts are put together.
The fourth wall.
Yeah, the fourth. Breaking the fourth wall.
But yeah, it's going to be all about changes, isn't it? Obviously, a League One opposition is a great chance for Liverpool to give their big players some rest. They play a lot of football already this year.
Yeah, and it's a chance for the likes of Ryan Brewster, Dejan Lovren, and Joe Gomez, so many players to play some football and stake a claim, isn't it? And for someone like Ryan Brewster, you think he's barely had a minute of football. Has he played for the first team? So he's someone that will want to make an impression, won't he, and show that I'm here, I'm useful, I can come on, and I'm ready. So it's a chance for them. Look, everyone knows my feelings on the League Cup. I like it well more than I think.
Better than the FA Cup.
It's far better. I think
on that,
it's the best competition of all of them, isn't it? It's the one
the real prize.
To be fair, it's probably a competition that Liverpool could do without this year, isn't it? Because I think if you go into December and you're still in that, well, I don't even know. I don't think there's enough days in December to play the amount of games Liverpool will have to play. They'll be playing 2 games a day, but it's also like a really decent competition. I think. I've just written a piece for The Morning about the 2003 League Cup final. It's one of my favourite memories in football. Loved it. It was a great day. Anyone was there. I just think it's one of the most underrated finals in recent Liverpool history. It was brilliant. And, why people are so quick to turn their nose up at silverware, I just can't get my head around it. Why people are so desperate to crash out for competition. It doesn't guarantee you winning. Why do people seem to think that crashing out the League Cup at the 3rd round guarantees that you've got a better chance to win the league? Man City did both. I've done both a number of times, so have Man United. I don't think it's any guarantee. So to me, I hope all these players take their opportunity and Liverpool stay in the competition, maybe through till December, and then have to jib it because he'll be playing in too many games.
Right, no, fair enough. Sean, on the same evening, and this we've mentioned this in the podcast before, the under-21s are playing in the EFL Trophy against Fleetwood. They played the first round against Oldham. Sepp van den Berg, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, they all played in that game. And that's obviously another competition that the young Liverpool players are going to want to take seriously. So how do you kind of see that working?
Well, I was looking at this initially and thinking,
You've been obsessed with this week?
I have a little bit, because it just, it is a little bit of a pile-up on one day, isn't it? Which is a weird one. But thinking about it, I don't think there will be that much crossover. There might be a couple of lads you're borrowing from the under-18s team to stick on the bench in the cup game, the League Cup game. But the names you guys have just been putting out there, you could have a front three on Wednesday night against MK Dons of maybe Origi, Brewster and Shaqiri perhaps, and then in midfield you'd be looking at Milner, who didn't start yesterday, Ox and maybe Keita. So are we going to
pick our League Cup team, by the way?
We are, yeah. We absolutely are.
Okay, well, I've almost done mine already.
Don't ruin it, sure.
But I think the initial concern about, is there going to be is it too much to handle on one night, essentially, for the two sides? I think it'll work out okay. So we should hopefully still see all those lads you just mentioned, Connor, get the chance to showcase themselves in the EFL Trophy again.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we'll come on to some teams, and we'll start with the first one, because goalkeepers, I think every position is probably going to be up for debate here.
I think it's looking like it could be Kevin Kelleher for his senior debut. Andy Lonergan is obviously there as well, but I think it'll be the young Irish international.
That'd be a really big opportunity for him, though, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's someone who know that the club have got high hopes for, and last summer, the summer they signed Alisson, I know Kelleher kind of moved ahead of Grabara as unofficial third choice, and obviously Grabara's now gone on loan to Huddersfield, and Kelleher's still at the club, so yeah, I think it might be a good chance to see what he's all about.
Agree?
Yeah, this is another reason why I like the League Cup, because it's a good chance to watch him.
To watch players
in action against
it. Doesn't interfere with the usual schedule. Like the FA Cup just takes out your Saturday, and if you're not in it, then you're not playing, and you've got to wait a week. They're all night games. Yeah, and you get to see players who you never ever see. So,
and you don't have pundits burn your head out by saying magic of the League Cup. every other cliche. Yeah, Kiva O'Neill.
Same for you, Sean.
Yeah, clean sweep, especially because I think there'll be, if it is say Lovren and Gomez in front of him, it's experience right in front of him, isn't it? So yeah, perfect opportunity to see him in action.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think it's likely that Klopp is going to risk Trent or risk Robertson.
I was thinking this though. I mean, we're literally going to talk about who'd you play right back?
It's tricky, isn't it? You had that bit of a debate in pre-season.
Keanu Hoover?
Yeah, I think it'd be the obvious one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, when I had the chance to speak to Jurgen Klopp last week, I asked him about this. I said, it's obviously not ideal that the EFL Trophy and the Carabao Cup are on the same night, so is there a plan in place, and what is it? And he said, I haven't spoken to Neil Critchley yet, but there is a plan in place, and I'm not telling you what it is. And Neil Critchley had told me the week earlier that he hoped that some of his big guns would be looking at the Carabao Cup game as a chance for them to stake a claim. So, Keanu Hoover possibly a right back, maybe Curtis Jones, and you'd hope Ryan Brewster would be involved as well at some point.
Okay,
but I'm going with Hoover.
Well, you said it. I'm agreeing with you.
Hoover, yeah, clean sweep.
Yeah, can't not agree. And I think we might all be in agreement that it'd be Gomez and Lovren in centre back.
Yeah.
Okay, left back then.
Milner.
Yeah, I suppose it has to be really. I mean,
no chance for Larouci.
I just think then if you go in Milner there, who's your third central midfielder?
Is Adam Lewis fifth?
As far as I know, yeah, I think so.
I'd be going Lewis or
Adam
Larouci,
Lewis?
I think. Yeah, Lewis, yeah.
I suppose you've got two experienced centre halves, isn't it? So it's whether you go for two inexperienced fullbacks. But I was saying inexperienced. I know Joe Gomez is young, but he is experienced compared to. So I don't think Klopp will go for Lewis, but maybe I'd go for Lewis.
I think I'd go for Larouci for the pace down the wing.
You like Larouci, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Really rate him. I've seen him a couple of times. I think he's a really decent player, but time will tell. Yeah, a bit of debate here, and that's it. A midfield three, do we reckon?
Yeah. Copied.
Adam Lallana as the 6.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. With that, yeah. Well, Milner. So are we just going? Our left back is going to be Milner then by proxy, because we've
got about Lallana as a 6. So if you're having him, Ox and Keita maybe, and you're freeing up Milner.
I certainly think
Keita will start.
I'm not sure Keita's
I don't think
starting.
Keita's starting just yet. No, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he'll come. I think he'll play. I think he's have some involvement, but then he'll start.
Yeah, so I think then Lallana, Oxlade-Chamberlain and Milner with maybe Lewis or someone else left back.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Everyone's in the same boat.
Or any young, maybe Curtis Jones in midfield, do you think? Or do you think he could start
I think he might play on the left of the front three if he is involved. If he is involved from the start.
Who are your front three?
Brewster.
Yeah.
Shaqiri. It depends about Origi, doesn't it? Depends how fit he is. I'm not sure if he would have been training. Well, he didn't train Friday and obviously missed yesterday.
You want to de-risk him if he's just come back from injury?
Yeah. So Brewster, Shaqiri. Do we go Oxlade-Chamberlain? But then you've got it's a tricky one, isn't it, this? Because
you've put him in midfield.
He's on the right.
You can't have him twice.
So then if you move him off the field and you put him on the left, I didn't like him there when they played against Chelsea. Didn't have a good first half.
I like him in midfield, yeah.
He was great against Southampton in the midfield, actually. So
I think Shaqiri, Brewster, and if Origi's not fit, give Curtis Jones a run on.
Yeah.
Or Harvey Elliott.
Possible, but he probably is going to play in the EFL, isn't he?
I think Harvey will play, because I think he's one of those ones that
he's on the
Klopp
cusp
sees him as a level higher almost.
Yeah.
You know, like
another fun fact from Guy.
Guy, our producer.
Harvey Elliott is also not just the youngest player to ever feature in the Premier League, he's also the youngest player ever to feature in the EFL Trophy when he came on for Fulham against Millwall.
I think that's a big thing as well, you know, the fact that Fulham have trusted him at 16 to be able to throw him on against Millwall, away at Millwall. That's not easy for any footballer to go to. So
EFL Cup.
EFL Cup.
EFL Cup, everyone.
Yeah.
Which is the
Carabao
League
Cup.
Yeah.
So there's loads of options, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, it's certainly set to be a massive chance for so many youngsters. Quick predictions?
They're so hard to predict these games, aren't they?
They really are.
The magic of the League
3-1
Cup,
Liverpool.
3-1, yeah.
That's why it's so good.
I'll take a slender 1-0 win.
I'm going to go 2-1. I think they will win with that amount of experience, but yeah, a little chance for the home side as well.
Excellent. Well, we'll be back on Friday where we'll be discussing hopefully another Liverpool win and progression into the fourth round and a trip away to Sheffield United. Thank you very much.